Queen, get the money. Here we go. Let's check this shit. Yeah.
Very nice. Awesome job, Chris.
How you feeling? How you feeling?
We're all good. All right, thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully everyone's tuned in by now. My name is Scott Ronan. I am one of the owners of School of Rock West Hartford. We're not open yet, but we'll be open hopefully by the fall. We're open online though, so we are hosting our first masterclass today with Swiss Chris. Swiss is a legendary drummer in the world of drummers and in the world of music in general. He's played with folks like John Legend for 4 years on tour, worked with Gloria Gaynor, Sir Elton John, Chuck D. Is a teacher, has written a book, Modern Drum Set Stickings. We're going to go through a lot of that today. I'm going to give it over to Chris in a second. I just want to go through some technical details. If you guys have any questions, feel free to use the chat. I'm going to take a look at the questions. We'll take breaks now and again. We'll get some of those questions up to Swiss. We're going to go through some basic stickings. A lot of the stuff that you saw Swiss just doing was using a lot of these very basic stickings we're going to go through. He's going to show you the sticking and then show you some applications throughout. We've got some promotions. Swiss is going to give away some books, some free online lessons, things like that. So stick around to the end. We may quiz you to see who gets those books and lessons. With that, Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you, and it's all yours.
Scott, I want to say thanks, and I want to say thanks to all you guys in cyberspace. I want to give a shout out to you, and please clap for yourselves right now. I might not be able to hear you, but this is a great warm-up. So some people say this is a great warm-up. You put both of your arms together and count to 1,000. Try that, all you guys. Whoever's online already, put your arms together. And you could do sets of 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great warm-up. But before we talk about physical aspects, I also believe mental aspects are more important. And I stole this from this famous drummer, David Garibaldi. He mentioned that, he believes that, and I believe that strongly, and a lot of other mentors and teachers believe that. If you have a mental grasp of a concept, if you don't have it, let's say you don't have it, you cannot manifest it. I don't believe you need a mental grasp of something. So I believe that mental aspects are important. Ask, believe, receive. Then put it in a physical aspect. What do I mean with that, with mental aspects? I mean, I'm using a filter, the 7 principles. The first thing is melody. I say regardless of what instrument you play, melody is first. So recognize the melody. That could be somebody whistling. That could be somebody rapping. It could be something monotonous, rapping like Jay-Z, or it could be more melodic or good him up. It could be Whitney Houston singing. It really is the melody that's first. And so even I wrote a sticking book, but really it's about melodies. So stickings are melodies, and we're going to get into that. The second thing of the filter that I use a lot is pulse. Pulse is the heartbeat right here. So let's say you're hanging out, you're comfortable. Let's say you get a little stressed out, a little nervous, your heart starts beating faster. So beats are relative to your heart rate. So the second one is pulse. A lot of music is multiple pulses, in particular music from West Africa or music from West Indies. Multiple pulses happen a lot. Third thing is subdivision. What is subdivision? I say can't sing, can play as the melody. Now subdivision, can't count, can play. We're going to go over some of those counting system. 8 notes. 8 notes in a bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4. 16ths. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. 6 doublets. 1 triplet, then triplet, 2 triplet, then triplet, and so forth. Or 1 a triple letter, 2 a triple letter, depending on the feel and style. 30-second notes. 1 a did it, and a did it, 2 a did it, and a did it. So those syllables are written out in your package, and Scott's going to help guide you what page and what not. But those counting systems, those subdivisions, I believe are very important. Why? Most music is quantized, and unquantized music still has a certain form of quantization. What is quantization? It's really something synchronizing with something else in time, relative to a pulse. So that's what we're going to get into a little bit. Then orchestration. Where do I play? What do you guys think? How many snares do I have? How many? That's the quiz number one. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 snares. I'm a fan of snare drums. Since the 90s, I've been playing, and I could convert them in timbales. Those micro snares don't really turn off as much as the timbalitos from LP. That's a floor tom, and that's another snare. So speaking of that, orchestration, then dynamics. How loud, how soft, stick heights relative to dynamics. Very important. And then the last thing, resolution points. Resolution points, there are big compositional accents. So a big accent, resolution point might be an ending, might be a beginning. The resolution point might be from the bridge to the chorus, or from the verse to the chorus. So let me start with the first sticking. Scott, do you have any questions to this? Who knows the 7 points? Melody, pulse, subdivision, sticking, orchestration, dynamics, resolution points. Any questions to that?
No questions so far. I think we're good. I think if you want to jump in, maybe even go through the stickings and then some of the warm-ups, then we'll get some guys playing, and then we can jump back in and see if there are any other questions.
Let me go to the warm-up first before I do that 6/8 sticking. This is perfect. So,
sure. So if you guys in the booklet go to what was page 3, it's the one that says basic exercises at the top. Swiss is going to go through, we're going to go through a couple of lines. We may not go through all of them, but he's going to at least explain all of them so you can take it back with you and use these as some of your practice.
So when I was talking about subdivision and pulse, this is a standard exercise. Probably all you guys know that. The difference is what we do, we're trying to already synchronize it, meaning we're not, a lot of times, a lot of guys play fast or can play fast, but if you can't hear fast or don't connect the speed, it makes no sense. You might have fast single strokes, but then when you play in a band setting, in a song setting, and the melody dictates another tempo or the pulse dictates another tempo, your single strokes might be out of place. By themselves, they sound great. So I'm synchronizing my simple warm-up in the basic exercise, page 3, 8 in each hand. And I'm doing full strokes, just to break down the strokes. I know all you guys know the strokes, and we know some people use Muller, some people use velocity strokes, or different things, and we can later talk about that. And a lot of techniques are valid. I think if you get the sound right that the band leader wants, that's the best technique. If you got a throw, and that's the gig, you throw a piano out of the window, and that's the gig, then that's the technique you're using, to throw a piano out of the window. But I'm just saying, as an example, it's like, I believe in technique, but at the same time, at the end, the melody has to be heard, and the drummer has melodies too. So the first one. So this loop is on 120, and I have a click on 120. So I can choose between the loop and the thing. So what I would do first, I'm in this position, and I do 8 in each hand. And we're not going to go 8, 8, 16. We just do the first 2 bars, 8 in each hand. Now count you in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 4. And you can do this in match grip or traditional grip. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I'm trying to make those full strokes. Why you think I make those full strokes? This is probably the widest I have to go. If I have to play. So that might be a good way to warm up. So that's why full strokes, to doing a 16-note back and forth thing is perfect. The second thing we're going to do, instead of them play B8 notes straight, we shuffle them. Now, how do we create the shuffle? Most of you guys might know that already. A shuffle, a lot of times, has triplet subdivision, not all the time, depending on how far and wide you shuffle. If you play Chicago Gangster Shuffle, it might be different. So I'm talking about the shuffle that's more triplet based. And we're doing 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet subdivision, but we only gonna play the 1, the let, the 2, the let. So 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Remember, the warm-up is great with not synchronizing, with not talking, but at home, you want to be able to synchronize. You know why you want to synchronize with your speech and the drum? Because your brain is the best computer. The computers you got out there, Mac or whatever you rock, are a bad copy of your brain. And this is a word I made up, full brain activity, but your brain capacity is way bigger than any Mac machine out there. Do the research, come back, and you know, don't take everything what I'm telling you for granted. Do the research. We got Google now. You can research. So I'm mapping the triplets: 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. In one hand, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. So now I'm going to count in. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4. 1, let 2, let 3, let 4. I make the trip. So 1, 2, ready, go. 1, let 2, let 3, let 4. Nice. Or you can do that each one 5 minutes. Really enjoy the stick. Come back. However you play double traditional if the band leader doesn't pay, and you play double traditional. Behind him, you fingers out a little bit. No, don't do that.
It's an insider joke for drummers.
I saw guys in New Orleans rock that double traditional style, and it works. I saw people in Brazil playing a certain style that's crazy. But yeah, regardless, most of the stuff that I'm doing in this demonstration is matched. And if I want to, let's say you want to turn from match to traditional, learn the fake grip. So let's do the first 8/8 straight with the fake grip. This is the fake grip. So the full grip is not here no more. Can you see this?
Yep.
So those 2 fingers. So that would be 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So the fake grip, you really have to use the wrist. So that's a good thing. Now, from the fake grip, a lot of twirls are happening. So let's say I'm into going from the fake traditional or fake matched into the fake traditional, fake matched, fake traditional. I could do 8 of those. So to turn the stick from here to here is just a turn. And that's how, for the people that are interested in stick tricks, that's how you could get into stick tricks when you start using the fake grip. And then, again, do the research, then see Sonny Emery. A lot of guys that twirl, and me and John Blackwell, God bless him, R.I.P., went to school together. We used to shed together. We used to argue because a lot of times this twirl was going into the drum, and John Black was one of the greatest showmen, played with Prince and everybody. And when we both watched the video with Sonny Emery with Earth, Wind & Fire, Life in Japan with the light sticks, I started realizing, Sonny Emery is hitting the target, and then he turns and uses the actual rebound. So the right hand goes clockwise, and the left hand goes counterclockwise. And you can practice this like this if you manipulate the stick. So you could do the 8s with twirls if you wanted to do that. So there you have your twirls practice too. You're using for fraction, you're using full brain activity, which means you're building more neuron bridges. That's as far as the warm-up. The third warm-up will be double and singles, but I think we should move forward. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I think we could. I think we can move forward.
Any questions to this?
No, just some questions about the origin of the fake grip coming from Carmine Apiece, and then I don't know if you want to comment on that.
100%. Carmine is definitely one of the leading guys, because Carmine, besides being a rock star, he was working with the drumline guys. I think the fake grip comes from a lot of places. I've seen sometimes gospel drummers play like that. Why? Perhaps sometimes you working your wrist out too much and you can't do a fulcrum no more. I think the fake grip is as old as drummers play. Like, okay, I'm from Switzerland. We play like this. This is not a fake grip. We play like weird, and you had a drum up here and you marched. And why got a lot of guys in it were marching like that, because we had only one strap. And the problem was too many drummers died in the wars in mid-century because the drum was in front of them. They had to run with the drum, so it was better to have play on the side. If you look at the Brazilian drummers, or you look at a lot of drummers, this is a great grip. I think it's all legit. I think try out different grips. Go to your teacher. Go to School of Rock. I think you could get a lot of mileage out of match grip. I feel it's the easiest way to go about it. But if you want to use traditional grip and get into poking and get into the tradition of double drumming, when there was just a bass drum and a snare, and the guys had to, coming from New Orleans, had to play like this, yes. Or you look at some Brazilian Baião drummers, yes. I mean, any grip that works for you. If you are an orchestral drummer, you need to hit the target behind you. You might play like this. When I play intros, it's more convenient. I don't have mallets right now, but it's more convenient to play up here than up here. It really depends. Doing rolls, it depends on what you want to do.
It's good to have both tools, I think, available to you as a drummer, right? Because I can play match grip really well. When I switch to traditional, it's a little different, but it does. It allows you to move around the kit differently. Sometimes you even get a different feel from it.
Oh, 100%. And I think it's aesthetic and also sound, because you think you can mute drums. You can mute drums with one stick. You can mute it. You can mute it. You play stick with stick. A lot of guys, when you have singles, doubles, and buzzes, it might be more comfortable. If it might be more comfortable for you to use that grip, it might be more comfortable. And then everybody's hand size is different, and everybody's body size is different. So really, and the style of music you play, I think us drummers, we should not restrict ourselves to one grip, one technique. I think we should expand, and whatever our body types allows, whatever makes us relax too.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing if you have a grip and then you're hurting after 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's good. It's actually, someone was pointing that out in one of the questions. Sometimes that, you kind of do it almost like a relief grip, right? Sometimes that fake grip can give your hands a little bit of a break when you're playing a hard beat, and you have a little, a passage in the song where you're not. You can go to a fake grip to kind of loosen up a little bit.
That's something like the same thing with, like, you going from this grip, our match grip, to the traditional as far as the back sticking. It's not the fake grip now. You can just open the hand up. Now, there was a march in the 18th century from Napoleon called the Hickey March that they had to play in front of the Louvre in Paris, and it had the back sticking, something like that, where they played on the back of the stick. That was some cool thing. It was really Swiss mercenaries that got paid to show the French guys. It was the Swiss were mercenaries a lot in that time, and they were drummers and snare drummers in the history. But the using back sticking, why not? If you get a sound, if that works for you for the sound, if you have brushes, you might play traditional on both hands with the brushes, just because it feels better. I think be intuitive and then ask your teacher about some grips. You can use the first fulcrum, you can use the second fulcrum. You could use fingers more and do rolls with one hand. I mean, there's so many different techniques. I think if you can express yourself, okay, I'm trying to say Ringo Starr and Buddy Rich, I think both drummers are great, because you want to play drums for the music you're playing for. So Ringo is perfect for the Beatles, and Buddy Rich is perfect for his own big band, or when he played with Charlie Parker and them Uptown. So it's like, depending on the style, I think there's not just one technique or one way.
Yeah. Hey, Swiss, why don't you want to go through on the exercise page? I think even if we don't do it a lot, going through the 4-2-1s at the bottom, you could even do the stuff in the middle too. You want to go through the galop and kind of show how the really simple sticking can be applied in a couple of different ways, and just kind of walk through it, and then we can move forward if you want.
Yeah, you mean going over the grid too?
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so if I warm up, and this is like, it is coming from the drumline thing, but basically Benny Greb or anybody's book that's out there right now is explaining the same thing. It's every combination. So if I'm going from the 16-note grid, and I'm not saying the sticking is just literally could be just right left to start with. So I would go the first accent, I will count in the 16 notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. That would be a warm up. That's 4 times the same accent. Then you do it twice. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a taking the bass drum down a little bit. Okay, so then one time, the accent 4 times. So, and that gives you flexibility. Now, you could do that in triplets, or you could put, say you do duplet, but you do doubles in between the accents. Play a little faster. That's a duplet meter.
Yeah, I think that's great. For those of you that weren't able to follow along with that, that's on the bottom of page 3, second to last exercise. You can do that with the triplet feel in the last exercise too. Those are great warm-ups just to keep your hands loose and really make sure you're locking in your syncopation, getting your accents where you want them to be while still maintaining really good stick control. I don't have any other questions coming through right now, Swiss, so we can just keep moving forward.
Okay, perfect. Let me go to...
It began in Africa.
Now this is the 6/8, and this is the 6/8 sticking. I'm going to start, and I want you guys to do that with me. It's right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left. And the melody could be sang, sang, si sang, sang, si sang, 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 si sang, sang, si sang. Sang, sang, si sang, sang, si sang, 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 si sang, sang, si sang. So it's like right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left. You guys see that on the page or the first page?
It's on the first page, on the bottom section where it says triplet meter sticking. You can see what you were just going through.
So I'm going to play a 6/8 thing, and I'm showing the application from it, and then I go back and break it down. The count will be on that page with 1 triple, 10 triple, 2 triple, 10 triple, 2. You could count like that, or 1 triple, 2 triple, 3 triple, 4 triple.
It began in Africa.
that's at a moderate tempo, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left. And I'm putting an accent on the 7th beat and on the last on the 12th. Now, you can speed that up. You can OD that sticking. Like, same sticking sounds a little different. I spoke about the pulse in the music checklist. You could have the pulse here. In reggae music, it would be like a stepper, so I'd be like. I could have it a halftime 6/8. I could speed that up to a certain, or I make it a 3/4 feel. So depending on the pulse, what we said, pulse subdivision, I can take the same sticking and create a complete different form. Do we want to break that sticking down? Are there any questions about it? And me just moving around the pulse, still 12 notes, sometimes 3 times 4, sometimes 4 times 3, sometimes 2 times 6.
Yeah, no, I think we're all good. No other questions are coming in. We could even move on to us if you want to, kind of some of the other concept we've been talking about, kind of linear versus stacking, or if you want to move into some of the breakbeat overlays and how you're using electronic drums. I think that might actually be really useful to kind of see how you're taking those stickings and applying them around the kit.
Okay, let's say I take a very simple sticking right, left, left. I think everybody played that before. You could use it in any style, and it's just right, left, left. So anybody I'm doing is right, left. Everything I'm doing is right, left, left. Let's say I add another sticking to it, 6-stroke roll. Right, left, left, right, right, left. So I have 2 stickings. I have right, left, left, and I have right, left, left, right, right, left. And that's it. So the difference was at the end, I took out the ghost notes from the 6-stroke. I might be playing right, left, left, or right, left, left, right, right, left. And now I put a little more swag on it. I swag it a little bit so the 8th note, as we in the warm-up pad, gets a little more of a swing to it. So I take those 2 stickings and I mess around with them. the end, it was a double stroke. Any questions to that?
Not so far, no. I think we're good.
Okay, so I take another sticking. That might be interesting that everybody plays is the paradiddle diddle. So right, left, right, right, left, left. So that would be like a paradiddle diddle. Only thing I did, I moved the right hand. I was stacking the sticking. I was using a right hand lead method. At the beginning, I tried to play something more that's used in Nago, from a Nago tribe. This is a reversed cowbell pattern. A lot of people use the paradiddle diddle. They say the swing rhythm, the swing right symbol, which is the sticking four, which is right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, comes from that. Mingus, a 20th century composer, used a lot of Haitian influenced music, and that sticking comes a lot in a cowbell pattern. So finding a cowbell, I got a couple of them, playing in the right hand. Let's say you're playing ostinato and your beat 3/2. That up. You can take the ghost notes out if you want to sound like Chris Dave or Daru a little bit. Take the ghost notes out. If you're playing a funk fusion band, you might leave the ghost notes in. You could take that diddle diddle and alternate it and put flams on it. Let's say you have a paradiddle diddle and you play paradiddle right, left, right, right, left, 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 right, left, left, right, right. But you put a flam at the beginning of each paradiddle, the right-handed and the left-handed. So now putting that on the drums, let's say right hand orchestration, like the 7 points, right hand on the hi-hat, left hand on the rim plate. Whatever ostinato you want to put on the bottom, you could do right hand, you could be stacking. You could play a 3/4 samba bass drum on it. Obviously, you could speed that up, OD that pattern, and go up even faster with it. You could put flams on all those stickings. So if you have right, right, left, the first one, the open drag, might not be as interesting like right, right, left. The moment you put a flam in the first one, a flam would be like, if you start a right flam, it will be a low left, and high, right? So you can take that sticking, right hand on the snare, left hand on the rim click. Whatever pulse you want, again, go to the musical checklist, melody, pulse, subdivision, sticking, orchestration, dynamic resolution point. So if I want another melody, let's say I'm doing 3/2, 2 in the right and 3 in the left. What's also good is when you have a sticking at the right hand, you listen to the right hand, play the left hand on the, and then vice versa. Now you hear the melody of a triplet, right flam, right left of a Swiss Army triplet. A Swiss Army triplet is really a compressed double stroke. Now he could do what Tony Williams, a lot of guys do. Instead of you playing Swiss Army triplet, you open it back up to doubles. Or have the left hand go closer to the right. See that a lot in Brazilian music. So, what you see a lot in Brazilian music is a thing called pata flauta, which is a part of that Swiss Army triplet, just one more note. So I got, so I play a right flam, left, right, left flam. So right flam, left, right, left flam. Notice that the moment you have a flam, ask your teacher about a flam, you're adding another note, you're adding 3 notes. If you have flam taps, you're practicing left, starting with the left, you're practicing the jazz right symbol. So flams are cool, they make you humble. Slow down your speed. Let's say everybody knows what paradiddle is. Let's say a basic paradiddle, basic position. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. I'm adding a flam now. Or I could add, instead of a flam, a drag. Or I add a flam in front of a drag. And I swag it a little bit. I play it not totally quantized, 1 and a 2, or 1 triple, then triple. I'm playing it in between, where it's like a personal feel, like. So if you have like. You take a musical piece, you take a loop, and you squeeze in some notes and see if that feels good, and start wiggling the pocket a little bit. So yes, I quantize 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, or 1 triple, 2 triple, but then at the end it's a feel between. It's elastic. It's like a rubber band. Any questions to that?
Yeah, we got a couple of questions that came in to us. Let me go through them as one at a time. One actually specific question. Can you break down like how you would fit the bass drum over a Swiss Army triplet if you were looking at like a samba beat? So take a basic samba beat, apply the Swiss Army triplet. Where are you going to put that bass drum to accent the beat?
Okay, so I will play that Swiss Army triplet goes over the bar line. And that's a
Okay.
cool question.
Yeah.
So I would start first to play the samba bass drum, which is like the 1, and then 1, and the 2, and the 3, and the 4, and the 1, and the 2. And let's say it's straight for now. It's not really that straight, the samba. It's like anything. It's got to swing a certain feel from whatever culture it's from. But let's say it's straight quantized, 1 and a 2 and a 3. And now 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now the Swiss Army triplet is a right flam, right left in the basic position. That's a group of 3. So how does it make up? Like the question back to you is, I got groups of 3. So first I will practice the Swiss Army triplet like an open drag. Like number 1, I would not play the flam. I would just play 2 sound sources and right, left. So I got a click or not a click. Right now I don't have a click. I could use a click. So like a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So now the question is, if you in 16th in 4/4, how many 3s fit into 16ths? See, to me, I would just multiply the 3s. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm doing the 3/4 samba, and I fit the Swiss Army triplet perfect. 6/4 might be the first rhythm people should learn, because if you learn how to play 6/4, you learn how to play 12/8, 6/8, 4/4 within 6/4, and 2/4. But let's do that. I'm doing a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. So and there I'm back on 1. So now I'll put a flam at the beginning.
That was great. Yeah.
So it's a cross 3. It's because it's a Swiss Army triplet, right flam, right left. It's like an open drag, right, left. Put a flam at the beginning. Put it into the grid subdivision of 16ths, and and look. Okay, there were 2 drummers that played with John Coltrane, Elvin Jones and Roy Haynes. There were many other drummers that played with Train, but there was a difference. Haynes was playing triplets, and Elvin was playing triplets. But the way they played the triplets, Roy Haynes played around Train. Elvin played inside of Train. His triplet was so wide, his flam and triplets was so wide that it was like a rubber band. So that's the difference of expressing the same sticking. And you talk about Swiss Army triplets, David Garibaldi uses it very different way than Elvin Jones used the Swiss Army triplet.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be Swiss Army triplet because the Swiss were the first to deploy rudiments in the 17th century, start writing, really 15th century, start writing down on 1 line rudiments. But those rudiments are thousands of years old, and they go way back to Kemet or Kush or wherever you want before the Greek Empire. People were playing this. So this sounds very, if I'm playing some 6/8 stuff, let me just play some stuff that could remotely remind you of some polyrhythmic, West African stuff in the Swiss Army triplet, then you can use it in funk. It's perfect. The Swiss Army triplet has a lot of functions. And to widen it and close it, okay. So my statement is, what you could do if the person that questioned, do doubles first. And at the same time you do the double stroke, you do only 3 notes. So, and it's still a Swiss Army trip, but then you use a melody first. Ranky danky. You could take an ostinato. You take an ostinato like this. Go back to the double. And open it, widen it, and closing it over an ostinato. An ostinato is a repetitive figure. Any sticking. Why? We all cooks. We all use stickings. All cooks use water. You have another spice. All you guys out there using the singles, doubles, flams, inverted, whatever. There's really three rudiments. Singles, doubles, and buzzes. Practice buzzes.
It all comes down to that.
Buzz rolls, they give you, that's what Buddy Rich, all the old school guys, the guys with chops that have real chops, they were practicing as many singles and buzzes. If you look at Stick Control, one of the first books, there you have buzz rolls. Mm-hmm. All those guys was buzzing the whole day. Because drummers didn't have cymbals before, so everything was like, were buzz strokes. You were just holding out notes. Mm-hmm. So buzzes are very underrated, and that's another technique. It takes another stick control technique as far as grip and pull from a little bit. I might be something that's cool because you can use buzz rolls on this. Like, that's not on this. Depending on the head, you could do buzz a lot, going from singles to buzzes. So buzzes is definitely another rudiment that was not mentioned. Any questions to that?
No questions on that, but we're actually coming up about 5 minutes to the hour. So I wanted to pause for a second. A couple people had to jet. I had one comment that came in, Swiss, that said, this is the best thing he's done in the past month. So definitely appreciate it around. I want to just go through the promos, if we can. If everyone's still there, go open up your chat window. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just ask you a question about what Swiss was talking about. And the first person to respond with the right answer, first thing we're going to give away is one of Swiss's books, okay? We're going to do that for the first three questions. And then the next three will be for online lessons. All right? So if everyone can get their chat open. How many, without looking, obviously if you can avoid looking at the booklet, that would be great. How many principles are on the musical checklist? I would say give us a drum roll, but that might be, all right. We got DJ Green Arrow. You got the right answer, 7. That's awesome.
Shout out to him. Respect to what he's doing on the turntables. This is really what it's about. We all different, so it's empowering. Thanks for a DJ to check in with the drummers. Respect.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's one of the School of Rock principles is we want to learn to play in a group. We want to learn what the other musicians are learning. We want to learn potentially multi-instrumentalist is great, so you can learn to become, come in as a drummer, you're on a song and all of a sudden they need a person to play rhythm guitar, you can pick it up and start to learn. So we always want to learn what other instruments are learning and how you look at music from a different perspective. So we really do support that. That's awesome. All right, here goes question number 2. This is going to be, how many snares does Chris have on his kit? All right, we got an answer. We got 6. That's to Ben H.
Okay. Shout out to him.
Yep. All right, next question. All right, who's going to write me the sticking for a paradiddle diddle? Can write either hand lead as long as you get the sticking right. Right, left, right, right. All right, Jonathan got it. All right. So those 3 guys.
I forgot something.
Go ahead.
Rudiments have the name of the sound. So paradiddle, diddle is a double, and para is a single. So you could literally trace Radamacue is Radamacue. Sounds like the way it's said. Remember that. So paradiddle, diddle. You know it's 2 diddles and 2 singles in front. Sorry for that, Scott. I just got excited.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right, now this is going to get a little harder. These are for lessons with Swiss. All right. So the first question, and this is going to be something you mentioned only in passing. What kind of music? Where does the patafla-fla get used a lot? What kind of music? And bonus points if you can tell us what a patafla-fla is on the fly. All right, but Jonathan, you can't answer again. You already got a book. You got to get someone else to answer. If not, you get the lesson too. No one else? Any other guesses? Where's the patafla-fla from? All right, Jonathan's going to take it. Swiss, go ahead and tell him where it's from.
Okay, the patafla originally is a Swiss rudiment, but the way it's used is used in a lot of South and also North Brazilian music.
That's right. That's right.
And it's literally without the flams, right, left, right, left. Now I'll put a flam on the first one and the last note. So that's kind of like, and then make it an egg. Don't just make it straight. Make it kind of like.
You gotta swing it.
Swag it, depending. The most important thing is like if you learn those stickings, that's great, and you can learn them in the bunker, like or wherever, on the ground or wherever you're at. But it's good when this Corona or COVID thing is over. If you want to learn something, and this helped me. I traveled the world a lot, and I came with another concept. And I was able, because I was able to trace stickings, I was able to play with a lot of different cultures that I didn't even know the language. So I was able to trace claves and cowbell patterns or polyrhythms because I was breaking them down with melody, pulse, subdivision, sticking, orchestration, dynamic resolution points, and I was able to kind of fit in more or less into what people wanted me to do as a functional purpose if it was ceremonial drumming or something.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So stickings are rudiments, and rudiments are basics, and stickings are literally like, take them serious as a drummer. They're like scales. They're like, Pythagoras invented some of those scales in the early times, and later the church developed more modes and scales. But a lot of those scales come also from Egypt, obviously, and then came to Europe and then came to the States. But they were already here before, too, because the natives were already playing certain scales. All this happened to frequency, vibration, and so it's like not just trace. Google, don't take nothing for granted. Do your own research and then compare it.
Mm-hmm. We did have another question come in while you were talking, and then we'll get back to the giveaways. Just
the
questions about.
Question, I'm married.
All right. We'll skip it then. Okay. No, people were curious where you traveled to learn all this. It sounds like you've been almost everywhere in the world. Is this from traveling and playing in those locations, or it's just from studying those styles of music?
It's a hybrid. Like I'm a hybrid drummer. I love technology. I love. It's a hybrid of things. I'm from Switzerland originally, so I grew up playing field drums first. Then I got on the drum set. I studied keyboards, piano too, and then being able to I went to Dante Agostini. Then I dropped out. I went to North and West Africa to travel instead. Then I went to Berklee College of Music. I toured the world a little bit, and I got into a lot of different styles of music. I would say I learned a lot on the academic level, but I learned a lot on the street level too. So to me, it was like each one teach one. Anybody you meet could teach you something if you're open enough to recognize it. So even a guy that's less good as you or has a sloppy foot and his hands are horrible and he's playing with a band, but he's doing the gig. He's got something to teach you because you might not be able to do the music. Mm-hmm. So music is the teacher, frequency, vibration, and positive. So it's coming all over. I traveled East, West Africa. I was in India. I was in Haiti, West Indies, and all over, literally, yeah, from Cuba to Puerto Rico to South America, but also like learning all styles, all cultures, embracing the commonality of cultures. Okay. Can I do one more thing?
Yeah. If
I
you
go
want
to the linear sticking concept, so you guys still into it, and I could tell you one linear sticking, if you could play that really well, or one or two, the one and two, that's the same. It's just a little bit different. You could get away with playing already in a band. Let's say you haven't played drums. This is the first time you're getting into it. Those rhythms are common in most cultures, and this rhythm and melody is common in most cultures. A kick, let's say a right foot, could also be a left foot later, but a right foot, left, right, right foot, right, left, right, or right foot, left, right, left. That's it. Now, if I'm playing, let's say I don't want to play a linear beat. I want to play left, right. That's my only sticking on left, right. Then I will play left, right, left, right. Now somebody's teaching me a pickup. Either I play two bass drums, one before and one on the beat. Or after, or on the beat and after. Or a drag. Let's go back to the linear. Let's say I don't know left, right in order. I just don't know that. I just know this beat. Kick, right, left, right. So somebody's talking to me about Subdivision. Play it double time. So let's say I play it, I take 120 as a parameter and I do 3 tempos. Well, let's do 100 first. And so forth. So I went into triplet rate. So I take this sticking. So now I say, I learn a second sticking. Kick, left, right, left. I combine those two. I'm playing a fill. Same sticking. Let's say I'm playing swing. But that kick, I put it in the left foot. That's like if you could buy the 4-way coordination book or just think about it, that's what it is. 1 on the bottom, 3 on top. Right, left, right, left, right, left. But look how it sounds almost like a swing right cymbal. Just let's do. By the way, I stacked two right cymbals on top of it because I like that sound. Kohlenberg, I love Kohlenberg. He's a drum. You should check him out. Mark Kohlenberg, not Zuckerberg. Mark Kohlenberg is different. Right? So,
Very different marks.
So no, but like, do you see this sticking? No, I'm playing the same sticking. Kick right, kick left, right, left. Or I alternate the feet, like instead of the kick, the left foot or whatever. So I take the same sticking. Now I could add all the notes in it, but you see what happened through pulse, melody, subdivision, sticking, orchestration, dynamic resolution points. I could mess with one idea. I could milk it. Go to number 3 real quick. Right, left, kick, kick, left. My camera just left me, right?
That's all right. Yeah, it's just the second one.
Okay, hold up. I can plug it in if I'm because I do have power supply. My bad, guys. Any questions to that sticking? Can you, Scott? Can you help me with that?
Yeah, no, I think it's all good. Actually, there was a question, but it was really just confirming that was really kick right, kick left, right, left. And it is. It's it's taking one sticking and just moving it around in so many different ways and orchestrations.
I can play groups. Let's say I only know kick left, right, left. I can go for days with this, move it around, or again, use orchestration, a linear sticking. Now, number 3, right, bass drum, left. Why do I choose that more than right, left, right, the 2 kicks at the end? Because it's hard to play 3 kicks on a certain speed. And what I do, I take a chop, I call this a chop, a linear concept, whatever, and I orchestrate and make a fake beat out of it, like this. So this is right, left, bass, that's it. That's it. Now let me take the next one. That's like a shuffle, linear shuffle. Right, bass from left. That's it. I heard somewhere Poison Teddy Riley when everything was like New Jack City swing. It was just super triplets, swung like a mother, whatever. Like so. Now I can mess with those beats and take that like. I combine those 2 stickings. I say number 3, 4. Right, kick, kick, left, and then right, kick, left. That's taking that. If I need that energy of that 6th up and 1 triple, then triple, 2 triple, then triple subdivision, I take it that basic sticking. Now I can play that over a slower thing. go for hours with those two ideas and start
Yeah.
going, subdividing and quintuplets, septuplets, and I'm taking one sticky and get mileage out of it. Now I'm musically channeling, expressing myself because I got a message. The message is this. I'm trying to find the melody with this. The moment I found the melody, if I think about it, like let's say go to the last two stickies. It's like Steve Gabb, and everybody played this. All you guys played this. Kick, right, left, right? Now I'm searching for a melody. What is the context? It depending on the musical context. I could play this just number 6. Or I could speed it up a little. Fill. I could use it as a solo thing. I could go for it like I went for it in front of you guys, messed around with it. I could speed it up. Same thing. I could take now the last two stickings, the first two stickings, and I'm creating this movement like. Why? The bass drum stays in time. This is in time. It's like I take a Stevie Wonder song and like walk it. There's a walking bass line. On the bottom, the bass player is playing 8 notes. Boom, boom, boom. I know where I'm at all time because I'm thinking about melody, pulse, subdivision, sticking, orchestration, dynamics, resolution. But I should have played with more dynamics. Okay, but that depends on the band leader. Depends on what you're doing. If you're the band leader, your dynamics can be all over the place. But any questions to that?
Yeah, I got one more question, and then I'm gonna, if you don't mind, we're gonna start wrapping it up. Unfortunately, we're over the hour, and I know other people may have, other things they want to get to tonight.
Oh, we go to the MC set. Okay, you said
we can go into the MC set. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, that's where the cheese comes in.
Each.
All right, I got 2 more questions, and we do have a question about your kit, and you can tell us where that came from in a moment. Okay. All right, first question. If you guys open up your chat again, let's see. All right, this is for people that have looked ahead in the book. We didn't get to it today, but hopefully you read through this a little bit. Who can describe to me what the cheese is? We talk about, Swiss is talking about making cheese in one of the pages of the book. What does that mean? I see people looking through the booklet now. Only the fastest answers will have read it. And try to limit it. If you've already won something, let's give other people a chance. And if there's no answers.
Don't eat too much cheese. If
don't eat too much cheese.
Dr. Sebi, it's not good for you.
While we're waiting on answers to that, why don't you, if you don't mind, describing where you got your kit? I know it's a custom.
Okay. Now, there's this guy, Arnie Lang. Lang drums, Lang percussion. 40 years Philharmonic, New York. He worked as the principal percussionist. He has Gladstone. I have some Gladstone snares too. Gladstone was the guy that used to play a role in Buddy and everybody. Max and all those guys used to go check him out. The Radio City Music Hall because the guy had a buzz roll like a mother. Speaking about buzz rolls, singles, doubles, and buzzes. That guy made a drum. That drum is killing the Gladstone. When he Arnie, since he was like one of the, he's a PAS Hall of Famer, Percussive Art Society, he started making drums in the respect to Gladstone drums. This kit is Brooklyn Tax and some of my students, and I'm playing a bunch of guys. Billy Cobham picked up a whole kit of the Gladstone version of his version. This is the regular version, more the street version, which has one of my former employees on it. He has Kanye on it, graffiti and some stuff, whatever this. And the drums are beautiful. And what I think is the difference, the hardware is a little more put together. It's not just like a 12-year-old in China slaving or somewhere in Indonesia. It's literally an old man with his apprentices making all those screws by himself. And the hardware is just a little better. It's just better products, better shells. And so I'm playing a Lang percussion right now. And I love it because Lang percussion is, it's all custom made. Like this snare, it's a floor tom, but it's a snare.
It's crazy.
And then I got 13, a 12, a 10. So yeah, so those, I love those drums. I just think they're cool, and they tune well, and they're custom made. And right now I'm more like a family dude. I don't travel that much, and when I go back on a world tour, I'm forced to play one of the majors. I used to play Yamaha drums for a long time. I was a Yamaha endorser, and I love it. But there's a little more care, a little more quality in it, and more history in this one.
All right, so we got one person has answered it correctly, but we also have a request to demonstrate the cheese-a-diddle.
Okay.
So we're going to put your money where your mouth is. So for those that didn't read through the book, basically, when you're looking at it, Swiss, if you want to explain it, we're going to take the paradiddle, then we're going to add a flam to it, then we're going to add a drag to it at the beginning, and then we're going to combine the flam and the drag at the beginning of a paradiddle, and that's what's going to be called the cheese-a-diddle.
Yeah. And I'm going to orchestrate it. First, I'm just going to play it 4 on the floor, and I play it on the hi-hat. Then I'm going to put the right hand on the hi-hat, and the left hand I put on the rim click. But first, it's just, and this is a real good practice. And guys, you could play the flam how you want it. That's your feel. You don't have to play a closed flam if you don't want it. You play more open flam. It's all good in my book. So the first one is a paradiddle. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, basic and lute position. Could be in any position, we do in lute position. Second one, instead of just playing a single, I play a flam. Instead of the flam, I'm playing a drag-a-diddle. Some people will call it the drag paradiddle, but I call it the drag-a-diddle because the melody sounds drag-a-diddle, drag-a-diddle. It's not drag paradiddle. That's something else. That's another, and I studied with Alan Dawson. That's another rudiment. And then cheese-a-diddle, which is a flam in front of a drag. Where we at? Almost a Swiss Army triplet. Right flam, right, and the left. It is a Swiss Army triplet, see? Now what I'm going to do with that, I might put it on the drums, like, let me put the camera right for you guys. So I'm going to flam-a-diddle. Now I'm going to drag-a-diddle. And now a cheese-a-diddle. That's one of the applications. You're playing a rim click on the snare. You know, that's one cool thing if you want to practice like that type of feel. Do not play a one. So. Play on the let and the trip. Don't play the one. And that's the cool thing. If you think of a lot of African music is like that, where you do not have a one, or the one is on the snare, and a lot of triplets are played, and the trip is played, and the trip is not played in our culture as much, except in some church music, the trip is in there a little bit in a 12/8. Any questions?
No, we're going to wrap it up in a minute. Let's ask one more question, see if we can give away one more online lesson with you, all right? How's that sound?
Yeah.
This is going to be an easy one. We're going to lob this one out there. First right answer is going to get it. What country is Swiss Chris from? Oh, all right. We're going to give one other person a chance because the person who keeps getting these has answered before, although he's going to be signed up for lots of lessons. I think we have a winner, but she doesn't know how to spell it. And since I know her well enough, I'm gonna assume she can just spell it phonetically. There we go. She got it right. All right. Kudos to Avery for knowing you're from Switzerland. With a name like Swiss Chris, who would have thunk it, right?
I'm not from Sweden. I'm not a Swedish fish. Like Switzerland, in the Swiss mountains. Yeah.
You know, I want to thank you, Swiss, for doing this. This was just really awesome. I hope everyone got a lot out of it. For any of you that got a lesson, I'll reach out to you. We'll set that up with Swiss directly. Same with the books. We'll get them off to you. For anyone interested in School of Rock in West Hartford, anyone that mentions the masterclass and wants to sign up, we'll give you 50% off the first month. So just reach out to us and let us know. You can email me at westhartford@schoolofrock.com. Any questions you have. And hang on. Somebody else.
Yeah, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Swiss.
Guys, if you get this book, you told them, and you were here today, this is $15. I'm going to give you a free lesson online, break it down, or whatever you need, what you want. Because you know why I did this book? I stole from 100 books a page. 100 books, 100 teachers, and I had a lot of teachers. I wasn't the best student, but I could play most methods that are in syncopation, or in Ted Reed syncopation, or in stick control, or any other book that's out there, from New Breed to anything, and I can use my book to do it. So because I was touring a lot, and now I'm teaching the summer program at Berkeley, and I'm working with the School of Rock too, which I want to say thank you. Scott, thank you for your musicianship and your and management skills and all, and if you get this, you got a free lesson. So holler at Scott on that. You know what I mean? But
yeah, let us know, and just mention the master class. We'll get that set up. Anyone has any questions after the fact, questions for me, questions for Swiss, just email us. We'll be happy to answer them, and hopefully we'll see all you again soon.
And thanks for taking out the time. And be safe, be healthy, and all the best to you and your family. And you know, one thing, drumming is healthy. Your ears might get a little punishment, but other than that, it's very healthy.
It's worse on your neighbor's ears. It's okay.
Yeah, it might be painful for the neighbors more than you.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, guys. Look forward to seeing you again.
Be blessed.